All right, we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order here for April 15th County Board meeting. I'd like to invite Chaplain Alan Raby to come up and say the invocation for us. All please rise.
See, is that on? Can you hear me out there? It's gone. Okay, very good. I just want to say one word before this. It's an honor for me to do this. I thank you for allowing me to come and do that. And Mark, I'll thank you. Let's bow for a word of prayer. Father, we thank you for the opportunity we have to be in your business, Lord. And we just ask that as we continue to contemplate all the many things that are happening in Adams County, that you would give us wisdom. You would give these men, these leaders, wisdom, and that you would provide direction. And Father, as we go through so many different details tonight, and Father, I'm thinking of things like the HVAC system at the courthouse here. Father, give wisdom on that, and wisdom on finances, we ask, on direction, on how to finance that. Father, we also ask for, as community needs assessment is being presented, that you give also us direction how to meet the needs in this community. Thank you, Father, that you have provided, and Lord, we just ask that you give direction for how money should be spent, how people should be cared for, how we can be better servants of yours here in Adams County. There are a number of resolutions and ordinances that are also being considered tonight, and we ask for wisdom in those. The national park circumstance. Help, Lord, for us to know how to vote on that, how to come to a resolution on that. Father, I think of the appointees that are also being appointed, especially to the fire protection in Payson and elsewhere, Lord. We just ask that you would give health and safety to them, and as they are elected, that you would guide them and direct them and provide just your skills and abilities, Lord, as they go. And Lord, there's many other things. I'm thinking of such things as the fireworks approval and the relationship with the regional schools, et cetera, et cetera. There are just so many ways in which this party here, this body, provides direction and leadership. So, Father, we thank you for this meeting together tonight, and we ask that your will would be done and that all would come to a glory, to give glory to you now. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. If John McCoy would lead us in the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll have the roll call now.
All right, before I start, I'd like to ask everybody, when you speak tonight, make sure you go into your microphone so it gets put on the record. We've had an issue the last couple of months. So, Mark Sorensen.
Yes.
Barbara Fletcher.
Yes.
Raheem Camper.
Present.
Dave Bellis.
Here.
Marvin Kirkhoff. Mark Dietrich.
Here.
Jeremy Farlow.
Here.
Steve McQueen.
Here.
Travis Cooley.
Here.
Robert Rich.
Here.
Tim Finley.
Here.
John McCoy.
Here.
Brad Poulter.
Here.
David McCleary.
Here.
Brent Fisher. Joe Zenger.
Here.
Russ Heenkamper.
Here.
Timothy Seamer.
Here.
Keith Calloway.
Here.
Brett Austin.
Here.
18 present, 2 absent, 1 vacant.
We have 18 present, 2 absent, 1 vacant. I declare a quorum present. We have our time for public comment, request to speak. Do we have any public comment signed up?
Nobody from the public.
Okay. We had a request for Mr. Paul Havermehl from the back to come up, and he wanted to say a couple words about his staff. Red light on.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just real quick, you're going to hear a report tonight about where we're at with our census and how we're performing in this calendar year. I attribute a lot of that. I'd like to take a lot of credit for it, but I can't. It's to the people that work at the VAC. And I wanted to introduce all of them tonight, but only one could make it, so I apologize for that. But Penny, would you stand up? This is Penny Perrine. She is our administrative assistant. She is an Air Force veteran. She's been with us since July, and her main mission is to keep me on task and keep me focused. So she does an outstanding job. She takes great pride in helping our veterans every day, and she does an outstanding job of that. And I just can't thank her enough for everything she's done to help us be as successful as we've been. And thank you guys again, all of you, for your support. So Penny, here's the board. Board, here's the pen. Here's Penny. So thank you.
Thank you, Paul, and sympathies to Penny for having a very hard mission. Next, I have the honor of presenting an award. I want to come down here down front, so I won't be on the microphone. Sorry about that. But if we could have Teresa Bockold please come up. So, as you know, Teresa retired in February. Yes. Resigned February from the board. She was in District 7. Right. And how many years were you here on the Adams County Board? Too many. Spoken like a true veteran. Yeah, we won't count those years. It's never good to ask a woman her age or how long she's been on the Adams County Board, apparently. So, but it was a substantial amount of years. Occupied this seat. I told this story one time before, but Teresa was the first person that I spoke to when I was seated next to her on the Adams County Board. We disagreed on some kind of permit thing or something, and she looked at me very sternly and said, "You want to vote the other way, I think," and I did.
Such a straight.
And I did immediately. So, but I enjoyed all the time that we spent together, and a lot of you got to know Teresa. She was a very equitable person on the board. Spent her time caring about the issues, and has always been very involved in our local community. So I really appreciate all the effort that you gave here, and I know the board appreciates that too. And I hope that you are doing well, and that you will continue to do well, and we are all praying that you will do well. Okay. And then I really want to present you with this award for it. And it's on here. I didn't even know it was 17 years, by the way. So that was a long time. So on behalf of the Adams County Board, congratulations. Thank you. Okay, thank you for entertaining that. It's always great to honor the board members that we've had. We'll do one for Les next month. He was going to be here tonight, but his priorities won out, and he's still in the field planting corn. So if you know Les, that's about where he wants to be. So, but he'll make it next month, and we'll have a presentation for him as well. Next, we have a report from Jenna Hull at the United Way, and she's passed out this community needs assessment packet. And then introduce the person that's with you too.
Yes, thank you, sir. This is Natalie Cornwell. She's our community impact person at United Way of Adams County. And my name is Jenna Hull, and I am the executive director for United Way of Adams County. I've been at the United Way for about 5 years and in this role for about 1.5 years. So thank you. First of all, thank you for being interested, and thank you for allowing us to come here this evening and speak with you. United Way has been doing this community needs assessment for over 20 years. And Blessing Hospital came on about 10 years ago. And of course, the Adams County Health Department has always been involved in this. So we're really excited about this community needs assessment. You guys have the hard copy in front of you. Doesn't it look nicer than the PDF that we sent out, right? So we're super excited about it. I'm going to let Natalie kind of give you a little bit more of the history, and then we'll get kind of into this. And if you have questions, we're really okay with you interrupting. We love questions. We want people to learn. We want you to know what we found and what we want to do about it and all those things. But if you don't ask, we can't answer. So feel free to interrupt anytime.
Good evening. The community needs assessment is a collection of data. Probably would put you to sleep if you needed it to. And when you look at the data, you'll be interested to see what matters most to you. Do I have anyone in this room who remembers the TV show from the 60s where they would ask for just the facts? Go for it. What was it? Dragnet. The homicide detective would be at the door and the unsuspecting housewife, and he'd say, just the facts, ma'am. And that's what you have before you. You have this collection of data based on categories important to Adams County. Tonight we're sharing highlights, and we're just sharing a few pieces of information about Adams County. So you can see that our population has remained somewhat steady. Our population with veteran status is higher than the state of Illinois. Our population with disabilities is also higher than Illinois. Median age in Adams County hasn't changed much in the last 3 years. We do this assessment every 3 years. And our labor force is approximately 30,000 people. Jenna is going to talk to you a little bit about probably the most important thing and the only thing we really want you to remember about the report tonight.
So bonus points if you know who Alice is. Raise your hand. I knew Jeremy would. Bob, you should have raised your hand too, just saying. Yeah, there you go. Okay, if you don't know who Alice is, that's okay. We love to talk about Alice. We don't love our statistics of Alice in Adams County, but if you don't remember anything else from this evening, as Natalie said, please remember Alice. Alice stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. Alice is a hardworking woman or man, could be a mom or not, dad or not, and Alice is sometimes one disaster away from losing everything. Alice makes enough money to pay for rent, utilities, a basic smartphone plan, food, and childcare, but not much else. And so that's why we say one disaster away, right? If you have a water heater breakdown, if you need a new roof, if your car needs new tires, those are all things that Alice can't save for because Alice is paying all of her bills and doing everything she can month to month. In Adams County, Alice is 27%. Where does my 27%? I don't see it. Which is, oh, I can't see that far. I guess I need my glasses. I'm sorry. So that's about 7,422 households. And that number is the number that we are not happy with. And again, we have people say all the time, working in nonprofits, and I'm sure you've heard it said before, why don't they go get a job, right? Has anybody ever heard that? Okay, well, Alice has a job, or Al, depending on if it's a woman or a man, and they do have a job, and sometimes they have more than one job, and they're doing everything that they can, but because of whatever circumstance they're in a lower income bracket. But what I want you to know about Alice is Alice doesn't qualify for any services in Adams County or in the country. So Alice doesn't get SNAP benefits. Alice doesn't get free and reduced lunch. Alice doesn't get any of the many things that some of our friends that live in poverty receive, which is why Alice has such a hard time when those tires come off the car or however that goes down. And so that's what we want you to talk or to see tonight is that the financial hardships have changed over times in Adams County, and 27% of those people are now living just above the poverty threshold, but below what is actually sustainable for them to live. So the other thing is 60% of black households in Adams County are Alice, and 58% of single dads are Alice. And so those are statistics that I want you guys to remember if you don't remember other things tonight, because there are things that we can do to change the circumstances for these families. They are working, and they are working hard. Some of them are working 2 jobs, some of them are working 3 jobs. And again, if you look and see the single family female head of household with children, 74% of those people are Alice. So 74% of single moms are in this Alice tax bracket. And we have another 12% of people that live in poverty as well. So when you add those two numbers together, they don't make up a very good sum. Does anybody have any questions about Alice?
Okay, so right now I'm loving the fact that your eyes are down because you're looking at the needs assessment. So please continue to do that. You can listen to the highlights while you're looking, and there's nothing worse than spending months and months researching not to have anyone read it. So thank you for looking at that data. The first category is what we call healthy community, well-being and behavioral health. We partner with Blessing. And so right off the bat, Blessing wanted to know that hospital readmissions rate are at their lowest since 2017 at 13.4%. Not all of the facts that we're sharing and highlighting this evening are that positive. There are almost 11,000 Adams County residents with a disability. That's 17%, which is higher than 12% in the state of Illinois. I have to turn around to look at this next statistic because it's too small for my eyes. Okay, so when you think in terms of Adams County's Medicare population, 20% of them report depression, which is higher than 16.7% in the state of Illinois. Continuing with highlights from the healthy community, well-being, and behavioral health. In Adams County, there were 40,782 opioid prescriptions in 2018. I do not have data any more current than that, or it would be in this needs assessment. That's over 16,000 patients. I'm a former educator, and so data regarding our youth is of particular interest to me. 40% of our 10th graders reported that they stopped doing activities because they felt sad or hopeless every day for almost 2 weeks. Time for a positive. I'm old enough to remember when it was legal to have alcohol in a vehicle, and we never thought that we would ever see 0% of alcohol-impaired driving deaths, and yet we had it. So that's one great statistic that we can share with you this evening about Adams County. In Adams County, almost 61% of our residents have chronic health conditions. That is an increase from 2019. Adult obesity is 36%. Almost 11,000 adults in Adams County. Believe it or not, that is a decline from 3 years ago of 1%. There are a significant amount of other data points regarding our healthy community. I'm moving on now to children and youth. Adams County's poverty rate is approximately 12%, but the children in Adams County in poverty are about 16%. And we feel that deserves its own slide, all by itself. This is another great slide in a very positive way. When you work in education, you often hear about the graduation rate not being where it needs to be. And yet, if you look at educational attainment in Adams County at age 25, 58.8% have post-high school level of educational attainment. And so I think when you look at the chart, maybe we just need to be a little more patient. Something that you yourself have done a lot of work supporting is childcare in Adams County. And we'd like to say that we've fixed the problem of a 57% deficit in healthcare slots. Not yet. Not yet is one of my favorite words. We're on track. 74% of adults in Quincy and Adams County who are working have children in the ages of 0 to 5. So hopefully in 3 years, with some of the work that you have done, we can bring that number of children without slots down, because that is from July of 2024, that data. Looking at financial security and financial security with housing, we have a very low unemployment rate, and average earnings by educational attainment. Higher levels of education result in higher levels of income. Housing. When we think of Alice, or we think of those in poverty, we like to look at the percentage of income that our residents must pay for housing. And in Adams County, there are 19.8% of our residents pay 30% or more of their household income for housing and housing costs. That would include insurance, taxes. 9% are paying 50% or more. In our research, fair market rent, 2-bedroom apartment, $875 a month. Do you think that's low? Probably. Remember, just the facts. I'm reporting the collected data. So when minimum wage was $14 an hour, it's now $15. You needed $35,000 a year to pay for that fair market rent 2-bedroom apartment. So that meant 28% of Adams County who are renter households needed 1.2 jobs to afford that 2-bedroom apartment. Our rental households, 21% are in rental units that have severe housing problems. That's an increase in the last 3 years from 12%. So what are we doing about it? Well, the reason that we collaborate with the Adams County Health Department and Blessing Hospital is because they oversee, along with United Way, the Community Building Council. And the Community Building Council meets every other month or quarterly to hear from sub-teams that are collaborating to try to find solutions. The survey in 2021 determined that behavioral health, community stability, which would include Alice and those in poverty, and housing were the 3 most pressing issues in Adams County. Those teams meet monthly. Who are they? They are United Way partners and collaborators who send representation to discuss potential solutions for the problems that face our community. At best, United Way is a convener. We provide that neutral space for all of these organizations to meet, share ideas, and create solutions for some of our most pressing needs and problems.
So what do we do with all of that, right? Is your head ready to like explode because we threw all that data out with you? I apologize for that. What I want to say is you are already doing it. You guys are members of this board. You clearly care about Adams County. You're already difference makers. You're already change makers. I know, Brett, this is new to you, but you've always been a change maker. So this is nothing new for you. But I just want to say, like, take all that data home with you, but don't forget Alice. And also, let us know how we can partner with the Adams County Board to create additional change in Adams County. The United Way is here to convene. We are here to support. We are here to financially help out those agencies that are making a difference with the 3 needs that came out of the community needs assessment. And we are going to make a big push for Alice because Alice is important, and we don't want Alice or Al to fall through the cracks because they are doing everything that they can be doing. And so, again, just partner with us and let us know how we can help you because you have a tough job and you have a lot of decisions that you have to make. You're the decision makers. We're just the conveners. So I would love to take any questions that you guys have, and then we'll let you get back to your regular agenda.
I don't necessarily have a question, but I did want to point out that, you know, the programming that we've done through housing and the child care programming that you have approved as a board comes directly from these data gathering efforts, comes directly from this organization partnering with our board members that serve on their committees, as well as GREDF and as well as the city. So feel proud of the fact that somebody didn't just throw a report at you and it collected dust on a shelf. You all participated in acting on some of the programs here and use it as a reference for maybe what you're interested in the future, and we can maybe act on other things together as well.
And I love how you say that because I don't want you to think we're throwing bad data at you to say, boo, Adams County. I've lived in Adams County my entire life, and I still believe it's an amazing place to live, and I know that you all must as well, or you wouldn't be here. But we do have to put this data out, and that is how we create change. And I love that you said that because that's why we do it, is so that we can see, if you're not aware of it, how are you going to fix it? And I love that you guys are already fixing it, and there's so many different things that you're working on, so we appreciate that. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions for Natalie or Jenna? Mr. Calloway.
I do. Considering how small this town is, why is there such a high dropout rate?
Oh, that's a good question. I honestly can't answer that for you. I do know that the statistics started going down quite a bit after COVID. There was a lot of distance learning. There was a lot of online learning and things like that. I do believe it's bouncing back. But when you had a situation for sometimes a couple of years where children weren't being asked to stay at school, I think that can kind of show you where that decline has come from. But again, all I know is the facts of that, and that they are hopefully going to start turning up now that we're kind of getting past that COVID.
Okay, and second question is, are there any truant officers that actually go to the houses and then,
Yes,
hey,
there
you
are.
need to get in the back of the car and we're taking you to school, and the parents get
I don't think they do that.
Because other major towns, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
To keep the enrollment up and the kids to graduate. That's why
Yeah. Todd, do you know? I think they have at least one truant officer at each school, but I don't think they actually go to the homes and get the kids. And I believe you have to miss 12 days before that even activates.
Okay, because with our own kids, it's like you had like a small window, and it was only 3 times you could miss.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you started retroactive, and you had to come in on Saturdays and make up for your class that you missed.
Maybe we should look into that. That's a great
I will give Quincy Public Schools at high school a lot of credit. There's a lot of deans, principals, and
Yes.
counselors that do make home visits or try to help where they can.
Mm-hmm. And I do think it will go back up. I mean, we definitely have a great school district in Quincy, but we also have one in Payson, Mendon, Liberty, all of those places, Camp Point. They have great schools and they have awesome teachers that care. So I'm hoping that we're coming out of that COVID now and that we don't ever have to go through that again. So.
Because my kids went through part of the COVID, and we didn't have that issue either. And that seems to be the cancer.
Yeah.
We appreciate your time coming here, and thank you so much for the good presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. All right, some logistical business. We had a couple of off-schedule meetings. So on March 10th, we had a meeting about the District 7 board appointment. There's some meeting minutes from that in your packet. On March 11th, we had our regular board meeting. And then on April 9th, we had the bond meeting. So there's minutes from each of those meetings. Hopefully you had some time to look through those. I know that a lot gets thrown at you, but I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of those 3 meetings.
Motion to approve all 3.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bellis, second by Dr. Rich. Is there any discussion or corrections that need to be made? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Those minutes are approved for those 3 meetings. Next, we'd go to the Transportation Building and Technology Committee. Mr. Bellis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee met this evening in the law library at 6 o'clock. Approved all the bills. They seem to be in order. We had reports from IT department. Stacy gave a report that the equipment for the fence technology or the electronics is in, and the maintenance department mentioned that the fence material should be in next week. The work on it is going to be pretty slick on the east side of the building over here to where the fence or the doors will open and shut at a convenient way. The courthouse maintenance, the monument out front is ready to start next week for the 200th anniversary. The work has started in several areas of the building. For the HVAC, 2 of the boilers have been removed, and new piping for the new basement unit has started. Ceilings in the on the ground floor on the west side under us here has been removed. New duct work is about 80% complete. Work on several units to be installed on the roof has begun. Partial duct work for several courtrooms has been removed. All offices have been very good in helping communicate on noise issues as far as that. I was in here yesterday at a meeting and talked to several employees. The contractors cleaned up after themselves very good, and no real complaints yet. Friday being a holiday, there will be no employees in here, so crews got a lot more workers coming in to do some of the work as far as drilling holes in concrete, noisy stuff like that. County engineer, all they had tonight was a reminder that Ursa Solar Farm public hearing is next on the 24th, and I would like to encourage you all to please show up for that here in the boardroom. 6 o'clock. Other than that, I think that was it, wasn't it? Pretty much, yeah. Our meeting will be held May 13th. Next meeting, May 13th at 6 o'clock in the law library.
Thank you, Mr. Bellis. Next up is legislative and judicial.
Brett, excuse me, sorry.
Yeah.
Is there any time frame been thrown around on the HVAC system on completion?
Originally, it was about 18 months. We're pretty much on track, I believe, to this point.
Thank you.
Legislative and judicial, Dr. Rich.
Clerk, Juvenile Detention Center, Probation Department, Public Defender, State's Attorney, and Supervisor of Assessments, all the bills in order. Following action items are on the agenda here. First is first resolution A, if the clerk would read that by name only.
Resolution number 202504001020, an ordinance establishing procedures for filing and vacating elected county board member seats and amending the Adams County Code of Ordinances, Section 1-3-3.
Motion to accept.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. McCoy. Discussion?
We've all had an opportunity to read this. I don't know how much discussion we're going to need, but we're open for discussion.
Did anyone have any questions? Was everyone able to review it? It's basically a timeline ordinance, just to kind of clean up some of the gray area that we had. I appreciate the efforts of Mr. McQueen, Mr. McCoy. Mr. McQueen basically authored it, and Mr. McCoy and I met with him, and we kind of went through it together. I think it has a lot of good points, and it just establishes some rails for the process that we stay in the lane, which I think is good. And we've added to a state statute we haven't taken away from. So we've added some things that we would like to see to keep us all in unison. And I think it's a good idea, and it gives us a win for making sure we stay together on these important processes. Was there any other?
During our meeting that why the 30 days, and that was discussed. Don't rush the process, but leave that open for 30 days to see if anybody's interested rather than a week or two, or people may say, oh, I didn't hear anything about it. Giving them an opportunity to come in there. And the other thing is to, once we've gathered all that information, provide it to the rest of the county board so you have, and you're aware of who the candidates are and what their background is.
Correct. Again, appreciate the effort on that where our board members step up and find a solution to an issue that we had. So any other questions about that or comments? We can do a voice vote on this. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Thank you very much for that.
If the clerk would read Resolution B.
Resolution number 202504001021, resolution opposing the proposed national park in the counties of Calhoun, Jersey, and Pike County, Illinois.
This came to my attention. I think it's rather
Hold
important.
on. Need a motion to.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
A second.
Mr. McCleary brought this to my attention. It's also come from I-4 and Mississippi Valley Hunters and Fishermen. If Glenn Sanders would give us the 10,000 feet economic and how it's going to affect all of us view. Everybody wonders why we're worried about this. It's immediately south of us and may include us. And I don't, unless you've been to a duck blind drawing, you don't know how many hunters around. I mean, it's a big deal around here, as well as deer hunting. So Glenn, I'll let you have about 3 or 4 minutes on this, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, Glenn.
In opposition to the national park. I'm also the vice president for legislative affairs for I-4, the Illinois Federation of Outdoor Resources. So I've got about 12 years of experience dealing with this particular issue. And that 12 years of experience goes back to the Sierra Club. For at least that long, has been trying to turn the Shawnee National Forest into a national park. Now, how does that affect here Adams County? It does, because every tree that's sold off of a national forest here in Illinois goes back into a grant that each one of our fire departments, rural fire departments, receives. There's not a rural fire department in Adams County didn't get money off of Shawnee National Forest being a forest and not a national park. Now this is expanded out to a group called Alton Works, has teamed up with Sierra Club and the Illinois Environmental Council, trying to turn 144 miles of the Mississippi River into a national park. There's a lot of problems with it being a national park. Now, most of that area down there, from Alton up to in Pike County, is all public ground now. It's either state fish and wildlife areas, it's the Delaware National Wildlife Refuge, it's the Ted Shanks Waterfowl Refuge. It's public ground now. It's already protected. There's nothing to be gained and everything to be lost by this being a national park. Biggest thing is there's no national park that allows hunting. All of that hunting that takes place on our river system out here is gone. All the trapping is gone. There's no compatible use with agriculture. Currently, a lot of these areas plant crops, spending money in our local economy. $800 some to put in an acre of corn to feed the ducks out there. Once that is not being placed in the ground out there anymore, now we've got a whole bunch of deer out there in a place that's not being hunted, coming out to adjacent landowners to eat the crops. We saw that happen at the Delaware Refuge years ago in Pike County when they did that. It was a nightmare for the adjacent farmers. There's what they also call incompatible use with a national park. So if you got a private piece of property next to it and it's a business, and that's considered an incompatible use with the national park, by eminent domain, they can declare that property to come underneath the national park, pay the price for it, and absorb it. Right now, they're saying they're going to stop in Pike County with this. I don't believe them for a minute, because between here and where they're wanting to stop is one private island. The rest of it is already public lands that is open to the public. No fee to use it, no fee to go out there and boat. Every national park charges a fee. I would not want to be the one out here trying to charge our boaters to go out and take a boat ride on the Mississippi River. It'd be an ugly day. There's nothing at all to be gained by this. It's a power grab. It's designed, they've been trying for years to get the bike path extended from Marquette State Park into our fish and wildlife areas up in Calhoun County. Calhoun County's been fighting this battle for years with them, trying to keep, they've got this great vision that they're going to bring in all these tourists, bike riding and kayaking, and it's going to be this boom of the economy. Well, I think a kayaker, I don't know what they spend in over a year. You can buy a kayak for $200 out at Walmart. The average bike rider spends $700 a year. My wife has seen my credit card purchases for hunting and fishing. I'm a little above the national average of $2,200 a year. The money is with the hunting and fishing public. It is not with bike riders and kayakers. And that is exactly what they're trying to do, is create a preservation area out of currently open public grounds. There's nothing to be gained for public access. That is why the sportsmen of this state, both the Mississippi Valley, I-4, all of our 70-some affiliated organizations are opposing this. And we're asking for the Adams County Board to join Calhoun County, Pike County, Jersey County, Greene County. They've all passed resolutions opposing this. And I'd like for your support to say Adams County is here with you, because we can see Long Island being this big chunk of public ground up here. Too easy for them to move the line up here and grab all the way through.
Thank you, Glenn. I really appreciate your time this evening and all the work you put into this. It can be a big problem for our local hunters and fishermen.
Anybody have any questions? Yes.
Yeah, actually, because I learned about this last week, actually, last Wednesday, I think. What's the benefit of going to the national park versus what it is now? That's what
The national park system is designed basically as total preservation. It's come and look. Don't touch, don't take. You can't pick up a deer antler. You can't pick up a mushroom. It's observation only. And they're environmentalists. That's what they've envisioned for all of our public lands. They do not like what they call consumptive uses, going out there and hunting and fishing. If you're going to camp someplace, tie up your boat someplace, they want you to be in a little designated campground where you're not interfering with nature. So it's basically us consumptive users in the sportsman community against the environmentalists here is what it is.
So it's basically a control issue.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Glenn, for coming and giving us all the information. We really appreciate it.
Thank you
all. So we have a motion and a second on a resolution to oppose the proposed national park in the counties of Calhoun, Jersey, and Pike County. And is there any other discussion on that? This will be a voice vote, unless you want to do a roll call vote. We can. But I think voice vote's probably going to handle it. So all those in favor of the opposition resolution?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's kind of what I thought. All right, that resolution is moved forward to oppose that proposal, and we'll count that in the record. Next, we have go ahead. Yeah.
The clerk would read Resolution C.
Ordinance number 2025041111022, an ordinance amending sections 547 and 5435 of the Adams County Code of Ordinances.
Motion to accept.
I'll second.
Motion by Dr. Rich, second by Mr. Hincamper.
I'll let the clerk do the brief explanation. It's just changing some of the fees and a couple of the times on the liquor licenses, but Ryan can do it quicker than I can.
Thanks, Doc. So basically, what's going on here is we're increasing the retail liquor license fee from $200, which is every 6 months, to $600 every year. Right now, it's a semi-annual renewal, so they go from July to December and January through June. Each half is $200 for the retail. We have about 15 or so retail liquor licenses in the county that are not in municipal jurisdiction. So this would take that 6 months out, make it 1 year, so it'd be an annual renewal at $600. They'd be prorated for their first year, depends on whatever month that they apply for it at. Additionally, it would also create a fee for the special liquor permit to $75. It also increases that from a 24-hour permit to a 48-hour permit to sell the alcohol. And I think that is about everything in a pretty high level there, Dr. Rich.
Thank you.
So, $400, 200 twice a year is 400, and then this is from 400 to 600.
Yes, it's a $200 increase for an annual. Looking at annually, we haven't had an increase to our liquor license. Oh my goodness, 15 years maybe.
Okay, and then also this is in line with the city's charge too, right? $600.
Yeah, and I'd say it's comparable to counties as well.
Okay. And then the special event permit that's in line with what averages you saw as well?
Yes.
Okay.
We went from 24 to 48 hours. If you
Correct.
noticed. That did make a difference.
Get a weekend event in for the one permit fee, right? Okay. Any other questions about this? Comments? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Thank you.
We have a series of appointments. We'll go one by one if the clerk would read A.
You have an appointment of William Johnson as a trustee of the Central Adams Fire Protection District to a term that expires on the first Monday of May of 2028.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Doc Rich, second by Mr. McCoy. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Clerk, read B, please.
Appointment of Don Luce as a trustee of the Liberty Fire Protection District to a term that expires the first Monday of May of 2028.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Motion by Doc Rich, second by Mr. Hincamper. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Clerk, read
Sorted.
C, please.
An appointment of Mike Benjamin as a trustee to the Payson Fall Creek Fire Protection District to a term that expires the first Monday of May of 2026.
Motion to accept.
Motion by Doc Rich,
Second.
second by Mr. Farlow. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So ordered.
Please read D.
An appointment of Alex House as a trustee to the Payson Fall Creek Fire Protection District to a term that expires on the first Monday of May of 2027.
Motion to accept.
Motion by Doc Rich,
Second.
second by Mr. Hincamper. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Please read E.
An appointment of Robert Mitchell as a trustee to the Payson Fall Creek Fire Protection District to a term that expires the first Monday of May of 2028.
Motion to accept.
There we go. You all got in there eventually. Motion by Dr. Rich, second by Mr. Dietrich. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
We have several liquor licenses. If the clerk would read A.
One-day liquor permit for Daniel Valentine for the Day of Destruction, the Quincy Raceways located at 8000 Broadway Street, Quincy, Illinois, for April 12th, 2025, from 12 p.m. until 1 a.m. on April 13th, 2025.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Rich, second by Mr. McCoy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Please read B.
One-day liquor permit for the Adams County Fair located at 2010 East 1250th Street, Minden, Illinois, from July 23rd, 2025 through July 29th, 2025, from 6 p.m. until 11:59 p.m. each day.
Motion to accept.
Motion by Dr. Rich,
Second.
second by Mr. McQueen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Clerk, please read C.
A one-day liquor permit for the Adams County Fair located at 2010 East 1250th Street, Minden, Illinois, from June 29th, 2025, from 11 a.m. until 11:59 p.m.
Motion to accept.
Motion by Dr. Rich, second by Mr. Calloway. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
We have one pyrotechnic display. If the clerk would read, please.
pyrotechnic display for Point Divine LLC located at 276 Highway 57, Quincy, Illinois, for May 3rd, 2025, 8 p.m. with no alternative dates provided or approved.
Motion to accept.
Motion by Dr. Rich, second by Mr. Farlow. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Mr. Chairman, no other business. Our committee meeting will be next May 13th in the boardroom at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rich. You guys had a busy day. All right. Moving on to public health and safety. Mr. Sorensen, you going to take the lead here?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met tonight in the ROE conference room at 5:30. Bills were reviewed and were okay. We had department reports, energy management, emergency management, ambulance. Director Simon reported 750 calls for the month. They also had a unit that literally broke down, so they had to buy a new one, and it came in last week. The coroner, he was on call, so we didn't get anything from him. The sheriff reported there was 109 inmates as average for the jail. And the VAX, Paul Havermill, mentioned for the calendar year 139 new people. He also has 3 VSOs that are trained and are able to assist. They are getting closer to the $1 million in benefits for their clients. We also on the agenda, we have a new business. We voted tonight to renew the intergovernment agreement between Adams County and the Regional Board of Education, ROE, for our Schools Against SAFE. So I just want to pass that on for next month to be on the vote for the county board to approve it.
They don't want to take it tonight.
We can do it tonight.
Oh, you can?
Mm-hmm.
Ask me to read it.
Yeah. You just have to ask the clerk to read it for you, and
Okay,
we can
go
do it
ahead.
right now.
If you want to read that.
We have an intergovernmental agreement for 2025 through 2026 between the Adams County Board, Adams County Sheriff's Department, Regional Office of Education Number 1, Payson Community Unit Number 1, Liberty Community Unit Number 2, Community Unit Number 3, Minden Community Unit Number 4, and Adams County Regional Safe School.
I make a motion that you be approved.
Motion by Ms. Sorensen.
I'll second it.
I'm going to give this one to Ms. Fletcher. Second by Ms. Fletcher. Any other discussion or questions about that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Our next meeting will be on Tuesday, May 13th at 5:30 in the ROE conference room. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Sorensen. Well done. Executive committee. We actually skipped one meeting, but we do have from past 2 resolutions that were needed to be pushed forward. So we have 2 things that, if the clerk could read A, please.
We have a resolution number 202504001019, resolution approving the election of a board member for the Mid-American Intermodal Authority Port District as appointed by the governor of the state of Illinois with the concurrence of the Adams, Brown, Cass, Hancock, Henderson, Mercer, Morgan, Pike, Schuyler, Scott, and Warren governing boards.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Bells.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCleary. My only discussion on this is that Brianna Rivera is the appointee, and at 27 years old, she'll probably be lowering the average age of the Port Authority Board by about 40 years. So that's a good thing. No, they do great work, and she'll be a good appointee. Any other discussion on this?
I did.
Yeah.
'Cause she's the same one that was also like appointed to an alderman and then appointed to.
She's not on the
Q
city.
too.
Yeah, she's not on the city council anymore. She's the director of the downtown district.
And all that was when less than a year, and then now this.
I believe it was 2 years ago. Yeah, but this is the next year. Yeah.
All right, it just seems kind of quick if you were, but anyway, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? All those in favor? Opposed? So ordered. Clerk would read B, please.
Resolution number 202504001023, Adams County Board of Resolution, support of Adams County Agriculture.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Finley.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCleary. Any other discussion on this?
Can we, what is this resolution? A little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit of information about this.
What? You don't have it in front of me? Basically, it's our way of supporting. Actually, I could just call up Sean here for a minute if you wanted to explain it. He's here. We meant to do this last month. Oh. Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Yes.
Go ahead, man.
So yeah, I can answer a little bit on what this is. This is basically just a resolution that the county boards and the Adams County Farm Bureau are commingling, and we're asking that they approve the resolution in order to show the importance of ag in the county. It is a statewide resolution. It's a statewide, county by county. These resolutions mirror each other with some numbers transferring for notice.
And any other thing that we need to know about?
It's just simply that you support ag and its economic engine that it provides to the county.
Okay. And then you kind of use this as a way to show that you have the support of the community and use it with your organization, right?
It is a push down from our state level.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I am just here representing the membership in the rural area, just to show support and a commingling together.
Okay.
If I could, I'll just interject just a second. I'm Sean Valter. I'm the Farm Bureau manager. Basically, the Illinois Farm Bureau saw a lot of disconnect more in the collar counties than other counties, especially if they're commission formed. There's only maybe 3 of them, where the county farm bureaus and the county boards did not interact at all. So they thought if we could get county boards and farm bureaus to discuss this and get all of the counties in the state of Illinois to adopt this along with their county farm bureaus, then that would be a good jumping off point. That's really not the situation here, never has been. We have a great working relationship. I know some of you guys personally, we interact in the community, but we don't want to look bad in the eyes of the Illinois Farm Bureau that we just turned our back on such an important topic. So that's what we're here tonight, is just kind of a friendly handshake that you guys do recognize the importance of agriculture in Adams County and the economic impact it has. So that's it.
And to that point, Mr. Valter invited myself and Lisa Gasco to a meeting recently, and we spoke about some tax assessment stuff. We had a good discussion about what that kind of looks like in the rural communities, and that she was the new supervisor of assessments, and that she wasn't the opposition, that she was here to work together with the rural property owners. So I appreciate you inviting us for that. We talked a little bit about GIS and some other things about zoning. That word got brought up. Nobody threw a pitchfork at me, so that was good. But I appreciate that we worked together on that, and thank you. And if you have future discussions where you want participation from the board, please ask.
Sure. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming.
Any other questions, concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So ordered. Thank you. I don't think there was any other business from the executive committee. If any of the other committee chairs want to weigh in. Okay. All right. Well, and that our meetings are on the first Monday of the month when we have them. We just had 2 people that were going to be absent, myself included, so we didn't have one in April, but we will have one the first Monday of May. Finance, Mr. Cooley.
Mr. Chairman, Finance Committee met yesterday, April 14th, 2025, here in the county boardroom. We reviewed the bills, which all appear to be in order. I finished those up tonight. We discussed several items last night. The first order of business is an ordinance. I'll ask the county clerk to read 4A, please.
Ordinance number 202504001024, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds, alternative revenue source in one or more series of in the county of Adams, Illinois, in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $9 million for the purpose of financing the cost certain capital projects within the county and paying for costs related thereto.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Cooley.
Second.
Lots of seconds. Second by Mr. Poulter. Let's have a little discussion on this. Tell us where we're at.
So at this point in time, last night we discussed a whole brief scenario of what we have all talked about for the last 3 months briefly, but what we really talked about last night was that we were presenting and we wanted to approve King's Financial Consulting to be the county's fiduciary for the bonding that we need for the HVAC roofing project. So we have had lengthy discussions of who all we wanted within this. Either a bonding company or a fiduciary. Last month I gave you all a spreadsheet. You guys probably have that still, consisting of all the costs involved with each bonding company or fiduciary, and also their rates and cost and how we could possibly set up bond or debt certificates with all of this. We have had several Zoom meetings, emails, phone calls, text messages. Mainly they have all been through King's Financial. We've had several Zoom meetings with Tim King, Kendall King, his son, Bryden Corey, Todd Eiler, Aaron Wilson, Ryan Niekamp, Brett Austin, even with a lawyer from Chapman and Cutler, Larry Wilson, now twice. There's been a lot of time and effort that's been put into this. We've all discussed pros and cons of the differences in bonds and debt certificates. We've also even talked about repurchasing those debt certificates as an investment and transferring over the interest that earned on the investment over to the county general to help pay and offset the repayment of the debt certificate. At this point in time, as much time and help that the Kings have put into trying to help us resolve our bonding for this project, I feel like that they more than deserve to be picked in helping us through this project. They have the second lowest fees for local offerings using local banks first, only to the Baker Group, which beat them by 2 basis points. They have the second lowest total fee when using private funds local banks, again, only to the Baker Group. They also have promised to try to get us 0.25% lower than the actual market rate, as they start 0.25% lower than market at offer, and then see who wants to buy at that portion and the lowest price. And then they go to the market after that. So I just feel like at this point in time, they're kind of the lead. They've come in second to the Baker Group twice, but at the same point in time, the Baker Group, they have the highest interest rates on this stuff. So I feel like, well, why wouldn't we use the second best on everything else? They have been there through us with multiple discussions. Literally on a Sunday evening, I will text, and within an hour, I'll have a text back. Email the same. I just feel like they truly deserve the business, and they've been watching out what's the best for the county all along, and truly have been going above and beyond without even being hired from us from right now. So at this point in time, I just feel like that's the way for us to go moving forward.
And you had a unanimous vote for this with the King Group, right?
We did. We all talked about this. We talked about it until we were all blue in the face at this point in time.
Understood.
We all unanimously agreed that King's was the way for us to go.
Okay. And just a couple points of order on what you're voting on is an ordinance that sets out the scheduling of publication. It sets out the obligation of us to notify the public, what the public's response can be back to us, both positively and negatively, that if it conflicts with other ordinances that we've had in the past, that those are repealed and this takes precedence. So basically, it's kind of a reset valve for an amount of money and a process to get to that money to be released to us through a fiduciary organization. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Any other questions on that? It's a big amount of money, but it's also been discussed a lot. So if you have any questions, ask now. Yep.
And then Travis, this is Bernardi.
No, this is King's Financial.
So it is
Consulting.
King's, like what we
Yes, it
originally
is.
talked
Yeah,
about
this is what we brought up last Wednesday whenever we were talking.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions about that? And then I guess a comment, that I would make, being in the finance committee for a while, there's a lot of vetting to this, and so appreciate that. And also, I think that we're in a flux state with some of the financial stuff that's going on. So we'll try to hit the market at the best spot. But we are, needing to move forward with this because we do. If you walked in the hallway downstairs, you know that the ceiling's out and ductwork's going in and ceiling's coming out of this room. So it's not to hurry it, but we've been discussing this for a while now, and I think you guys have come to a good resolution. I appreciate that you went full circle with all the options. It was a lot to discuss, and there were some other options on the table, but I think you got to the right conclusion. So does anyone else have any comments? All right, this is a roll call vote.
Mark Sorensen.
Yes.
Barbara Fletcher.
Yes.
Sorry, hold on. Rainey Camper.
Aye.
Dave Bellis.
Yes.
Marvin Kirkhoff. Mark Dietrich.
Yes.
Jeremy Farlow.
Yes.
Steve McQueen.
Yes.
Travis Cooley.
Yes.
Robert Rich.
Yes.
Tim Finley.
Yes.
John McCoy.
Yes.
Brad Poulter.
Yes.
David McCleary.
Yes.
Brent Fisher. Joe Zinger.
Yes.
Russ Heenkamper.
Yes.
Tim Seamer.
Yes.
Keith Calloway.
Yes.
Brett Austin.
Yes. So we have 18 in favor, 2 absent, and 1 vacant. That ordinance is adopted. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to personally, and as far as the board's concerned, thank Travis Cooley for all the work. I don't think anybody, not even myself, know how much time you've spent, but I appreciate it.
I second that.
You don't want to do this every year, do you? Every month? No.
I'll put in my resignation right now.
Well, thank you. It did go unnoticed that how much time you put in. I really appreciate it.
Now, about that bond for the new county courthouse, that starts, okay, no. All right. No, I second that and appreciate all of the committee's efforts on that. Thank you. Please proceed with the rest of your.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to the Finance Committee as well. I don't think anybody actually truly realizes how much work was put into this. All the reading that we have done, all the emails that we have shared, the phone calls that we have shared, Zoom meetings. Bryden Corey helped out tremendously with this. State's attorney, assistant state's attorney. There's a lot that went into this, so thank you guys very much. Second order of business is a fund appropriation. I will ask the county clerk to read 5A, please.
Additional fund appropriation from Scott Graham Coroner in the amount of $10,000 to account number 20120157113, Coroner Electronic Forensic Equipment, all expenses for revised budget amount of $20,000.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Cooley, second by Mr. Sorensen. Any discussion?
This is a request from the coroner, Scott Graham, to purchase radios in the amount of $10,000. The coroner has requested funds already in the special use funds. Approximation is to adjust the budget so he can make the purchase needed for his department.
Any other questions, discussion? Roll call vote.
Mark Sorensen.
Yes.
Barb Fletcher.
Yes.
Rainey Camper.
Aye.
Dave Bellis.
Yes.
Marvin Kirkhoff. Mark Dietrich.
Yes.
Jeremy Farlow.
Yes.
Steve McQueen.
Yes.
Travis Cooley.
Yes.
Robert Rich.
Yes.
Tim Finley.
Yes.
John McCoy.
Yes.
Brad Poulter.
Yes.
David McCleary.
Yes.
Les sorry. Sorry, Les. Brent Fisher. Joe Zinger.
Yes.
Russ Heenkamper.
Yes.
Timothy Seamer.
Yes.
Keith Calloway.
Yes.
Brett Austin.
Yes.
18 yes, 2 absent, 1 vacant.
We have 18 yes, 2 absent, and 1 vacant. That fund appropriation is approved.
Then regarding 6, the budget and insurance, I want to talk about budget first. We spoke quite a while last night on the current state of the budget. We've been speaking about that the last 2 months here, where we stand right now in the budget cycle. So right now in the budget cycle, and we have this issue every year, we're nearing tax time, and some line items, if anybody's viewed it, are showing overdrawn or in the red. Once we receive tax payments in June, everything will balance out and we'll be all right. But there's always a 2-month window each year that things run really tight and just make do. We just make do until tax payments start rolling in. Other than those few line items, everything else looks good at this point in time. Regarding health insurance, we did receive an update from Michelle Lucas from Cottingham and Butler at the end of the month. End of the month of March, talking about February. So she stated that February is an excellent month with paid claims the lowest that we've had since July of 2023. Month ended with $199,000 or 56% below budget, with 2 months in the books, January, February, consistent. As this was the data from the end of the month of February, the plan is $219,000 currently below budget. One member has already reached 50% of the $80,000 specific deductible, with claims totaling $33,000 so far. I'll move on to 7, discussion, possible action. We've already discussed A. B, we did have some discussion on IMRF funds transferring to county general that we talked about. We talked about this last month as well. For the last several months, there's been quite a bit of surplus. I just put in this, by the way, so you guys are aware. We have about $2 million in the account that's been sustained for the last 4 to 6 years. We've been approximately $1.2 to $1.4 million in that account. So there's roughly $600,000 to $700,000 in that fund that isn't being used, that we could possibly transfer over to county general. We'll possibly make a transfer later in the year, closer to budget time, after we figure out exactly what we need in that account, plus have a couple months worth of surplus. And then we also had a discussion last night regarding general corporation max cap rate. So we talked about this last month as well. We have our max cap rate in the county, which is 0.27%. We're already taxing basically at that amount, which I got a revision tonight. So this last year we've taxed at 0.26819. So we're basically at our max tax cap rate in the county general. With that said, we had some pretty good discussions last night on ways that we could change that or ways around that. One being that we could pay out of individual departments a portion to pay for a full bill. But that seems a little silly at that whenever we're paying for one bill and we have to have several departments pay for their portion of it. So just take, for example, we might have to pay 4 different checks into one current bill, but that would be a way for us to skirt around the 0.27 cap rate without raising it. Another way that we could avoid it, we talked about we can tax 0.05% for a bond repayment line item that we have not been taxing for. But we can. I feel like that's probably something that we should be doing, especially whenever we have this bond repayment that we're going to be having now with the HVAC and roofing project. But it is something that we need to consider about raising that max cap rate that we're going to have in the next year, because we're already capped out. So how we address that to the public here going forward, we have to figure that out. But it's an issue, so we need to be aware of it. Outside of that, our next finance meeting will be Monday, May 12th, 2025, 6 p.m., County Boardroom. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I did want to make one comment on the tax levy thing so that we have clarity on that and so that our messaging goes out right. When you're saying the words about like max cap rate and taxing more and all that, I don't want our media or our constituency to be confused. It's a balancing act. Our aggregate rate would still be the same. Mm-hmm. But what we're trying to do is find the allotted slots so that we're not over in certain tax line items. So the general obligation bond that Travis mentioned is the last couple years of the health department payments. We could tax in that line, thereby alleviating the expense in the general area, and so that those two buckets would balance out. The differential is the same. It's the same amount of money. It's not raising taxes. It's not raising taxes. It's a two buckets finding the level of water in them. So I just want to be really clear about that. Although we will have the situation at some point where the general bond or the general fund needs to have more money taxed into it. And so for that, we will have to do some heavy lifting and some explanation of that. One other thing that I wanted to bring up, there's a survey that we participate in every year called UCCI, United Community of Counties of Illinois, I think, close enough. And it does a lot of things. It's a salary averaging tool. It is how many people work in a government population versus the county population versus how many county employees, all kinds of things. I think about 42 counties participate in it, so a little less than half the counties in Illinois. And you're welcome to have that. Ryan's got it digitally, and I think he sent it out once, but he can send it again. But personally, looking through there's 20 some of the 42 counties have a higher general tax levy rate than Adams County. So at some point, they did have some referendum or some policy change that raised their general cap rate. So it's not like we'd be blazing a new trail doing this. We wouldn't be the first people to do it. But it is something that we have to explain very carefully. And then just reiterating, this is an aggregate tax rate. We can balance these different buckets and still be taxing the same general rate to our constituents. So I hope that makes sense. And if you got more questions on that, ask Travis or get back to me. Use that UCCI document as an averaging tool. And I think that'll help everyone kind of understand where we're at with that. Any questions on that? All right. I think that ended your part for finance, correct?
I guess I should have. Did anybody else have anything for? Now it ends my part. Thank you.
Okay. We don't have any other unfinished business that I know of, and we don't have any board member travel vouchers to approve. What are we going to go one more year and still leave that on the agenda, or are we just going to take it off soon? Or the next person that submits a travel voucher better have been going up to Chicago or something. Monthly reports.
We keep it on there to remember Selden Toach.
That's right.
Reports from Supervisor of Assessments, Board of Review, Juvenile Detention Center, the County Clerk, Recorder's Office, Public Defender's Office, Circuit Clerk, Information and Technology, and Probation Department, Monthly Check Register for March 2025, and Fund Summary Report for March 2025, including revenue and expenses.
Motion to receive, file, and forward to appropriate committee.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Zanger, second by Mr. Hincamper. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So ordered. Thankfully, no other resignations, unless anyone wants to step up right now. Travis, you're probably close after that bond discussion. No other appointments. We did have a bunch in the Judicial Committee. No other reports. I don't have. You do have one report? Okay.
No, I just have one thing to say. On your desk are the Statement of Economic Interest. I've bugged you all, emailed you all about them. Those are due May 1st, so please get them to my office soon.
Those are important. I will piggyback off of that and say that there are a few board members left who have not finished their Open Meetings Act or FOIA trainings. We sent that out. If you are on the non-checked off list, please coordinate with Amy Carruthers at the County Board Office and finish those trainings up. They are important and we need those documented. Correspondence.
Correspondence from Ameren, Illinois for upcoming vegetation activity notifications.
Motion to receive, file, and forward to appropriate committee.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Zanger, second by Mr. Hincamper. All those in favor? Opposed? So ordered. I do not have any other business. Clerk, do you have any other business?
No, sir.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I think we do have one question from
Okay.
Steve McQueen.
Okay. Yes, sir.
No, I just wanted to, we had the kind of the levy conversation, which is transparency, and that is absolutely the way to go. So appreciated those comments. But I also think, government's not just about taxing or spending. It's taxing and how we spend. And about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, when we first started talking about this, we were kind of headed down a road where we were going to do something maybe similar to what we had done, previously before I was on this board, using the company Bernardi with the jail project and things like that. And that's not a bad thing, but I asked that night, and I just asked you the question, shouldn't we get a few more kind of looks at this? And I think thinking outside the box and a finance company jumping on something where we've got kind of a different vehicle that didn't exist before, that's the kind of government we want to have in Adams County. And I really appreciate what you guys did and taking the time to look at all that. And I've learned a ton just from listening to you go through it. So appreciate all that work. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate the comments. We also met through this 3 other fiduciary agents and 2 other bond counsels to open up the spectrum of the services that we might be able to use in the future. So to your point, I think that's really important.
I think we should also track, you know, in the final analysis, we've talked through this, and this is gonna save, I guess you can call it a cost avoidance or a cost savings, but, you know, government doesn't do real good with the cost savings thing sometimes. Maybe we should track that, so as we move down the road here, you know, the finance committee, the Adams County Board gets to take a little credit for spending money the right way, so.
Yep.
Never gonna hurt us to do that.
Agreed. Thank you, Mr. McQueen. Any other business before the board?
Mr. Chairman, do we look like maybe possibly wanting to try to fill Mr. Post's seat by the next meeting, or are we gonna have candidates here for that, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Any idea on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you brought it up. I was kind of mentioning it earlier when we were doing the ordinance part of the scheduling for that process. We had 3 candidates total. Mr. McCoy, as the Adams County Republican chairman, sent those out. It is a Republican seat to be filled. So we're in that window where I need to have one more interview through with the candidates, which I intend to contact them all. And then we're going to push forward the candidates that will be up for consideration in this next week. And then you'll have by Monday, this next week, Monday, you'll have the discussions that I've had with them. And then you can look at those candidates again. But you should read already their resumes and get to know that. And so all of this will end up being on a vote for appointment at the May meeting. So it will go in with the time frame.
So will they come to the meeting and speak like we did at the last go around?
Yes, I believe so. If they would like to, and I would encourage them to when they need to advocate for themselves for the spot. So read through the process that we just passed, and we're right on that timeline. And if I get you that information by Monday, you should have plenty of time to consider all that. Does that sound good? Okay. Anything else? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved by everybody. Second by everybody. We stand adjourned.